What's up, guys? It's Benny. This is not a drill. It is actually happening. Everything is popping off right now, and the American embassy in Israel is demanding that all Americans flee the country as quickly as possible. They are also demanding that Americans flee Egypt and Jordan as quickly as possible. Get on every plane you possibly can and get out. The Chinese are telling their citizens to leave Iran right away. I think in the next 24 hours, we are going to see the world change. Maybe the next 24 minutes. We're not exactly certain. Here's what we know right now. On February 27, 2026, the U.S. State Department authorized the departure of all non-emergency U.S. government personnel and family members of U.S. government personnel from Israel due to safety risks. In response to security incidents and without advance notice, the U.S. Embassy may further restrict or prohibit U.S. government employees and their family members from traveling to Israel, the Old City of Jerusalem, the West Bank. Persons who may wish to consider leaving Israel while commercial flights are still available must do so. Read here. Travel advisory. Get out. What is why reconsider travel? Due to terrorism, civil unrest. Terrorism and civil unrest. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to bomb Iran. They're going to go to war with Iran. And Iran has proxies, the proxies of Hezbollah, inside of the borders of Israel. And that's what's happening right now. Mike Huckabee has also told, the ambassador to Israel, also told Americans that they must leave now. And if you are tracking the overnight airlifts of these C-17 Globemasters, these Stratofortresses, you will see a monster amount of movement over the air bridge into Europe and then landing right here in Israel. Everything surrounding Iran right now, 63% of all American deployable assets are in the surroundings of Iran right now. U.S. Embassy urges staff to evacuate Israel due to safety risks, prepares for attack on Iran. The largest aircraft carrier in the world, the Gerald Ford, has now docked in Israel. Here we go. U.S. allows some embassy staff to leave Israel, citing safety risks. Mike Huckabee encouraging people with families to leave now. Here we go. The USS Gerald Ford, the world's largest aircraft carrier, has arrived off the coast of Israel. What next? Leave the country on the nearest available flights. China is now calling on all of its citizens to leave Iran by any means possible. The backdrop, the USS Gerald Ford aircraft carrier has arrived off the coast of Israel and is likely to carry out its assigned mission. A large amount of military equipment has been observed at Ben Gurion International Airport, indicating a possible imminent strike. The odds of a strike this weekend have now jumped sharply. In an email sent 1 hour ago, Mike Huckabee urged personnel who wish to depart Israel to do so today, warning of likely high demand for flights from Ben Gurion Airport and prioritizing rapid exit from the country, according to a copy reviewed by the New York Times. Leave the country now, is what they're saying. This is what Ben Gurion Airport looks like. It has been turned into a military base. Ben Gurion Airport is obviously a large commercial airport in Israel, and all you see here are refueling Stratofortresses, Globemasters, C-17s, American military might and personnel. State Department is now saying everyone must leave. The U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem should leave today. Now the State Department is demanding their personnel leave as well if you're non-government. Mass evacuation of American tourists today from Jordan and Egypt underway. Raising speculations about a potential strike in Iran, Trump tells Americans in the region to drive to the airport this literal effing second and leave. That's You can see here the airbase in Qatar, the American airbase in Qatar, everything's evacuated. So typically this would have plenty of platforms sitting on the runway. Everything is gone. Everything's been evacuated. Lock in, Patriots, it's time. Heavy GPS jamming hits Iran, including Tehran. So their GPS is now no longer working in Tehran. This seems like the beginnings. This seems like the beginnings of what we all know is about to come. This is the beginnings of what we all know is about to happen. Look at this. Almost 20 Boeing KC-135 refueling aircraft lined up and ready to go in Tel Aviv. Passengers on commercial flights filming this in shock. China tells all of its citizens to leave Iran immediately. And China saying it's all popping off. And this is probably the one that you need to see the most. Here's Dan Scavino. Dan Scavino is, of course, the mouthpiece of the president. There's nobody who I'm relatively close with a lot of members of this administration. There's nobody who I would trust more. Nobody that I would say more is the voice of President Trump. And here's what I mean by that, and can speak on his behalf. I know that Caroline Levitt does an incredible job. It's Dan Scavino, who's been in this position talking on behalf of President Trump on social media for decades now. Dan Scavino been working for Donald Trump for close to 40 years. He's been posting for Donald Trump as his voice on social media. Trump obviously approves and writes a lot of the posts, but it's Dan Scavino who controls those assets, controls those elements, who drafts those posts and works with the president as his voice. And he's been doing that for the longest of anyone. So this is what I mean by when I say when Dan Scavino posts something, you should just take it to the bank that it's effectively from Trump. And he just posted a video, an ominous video of all of these B-2 bombers sitting on a runway, ready. You think we're going to war with Iran? Yep. Operation Midnight Hammer is here.
You guys are gonna be so mad after this, but have you heard what David Icke said about Trump? You didn't? Neither had I.
Israel will have an absolute enormous amount on Trump. He was so bankrupt, in for $1 billion. Wilbur Ross came in, still working for the Rothschilds at the time, organized 72 banks to bail out Trump. Trump is who Trump is because of that bailout. Sheldon Adelson and Miriam Adelson has given him $100 million for this election campaign. The strings of this, Donny, moved the US Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, done. The Golan Heights of Syria becoming Israeli territory, done. There's a location in the Golan Heights now called Trump Heights in appreciation. Part of that agreement, this has been reported in the Jewish press, Trump at some point in his presidency will sanction the Israeli annexation of the West Bank. They've got most of it now anyway. And so you've got the blackmail, you've got the fact that he's beholden to them because they saved his backside, and you put that lot together and it's no surprise, is it, that he does whatever Israel tells him.